2021's been a crazy year for music, and as podcasters, we've listened to hundreds of songs. So for today's episode, we'll be taking you guys through our top 10 songs of 2021, an episode that we've been dying to actually create because of how hard it is to formulate, but how fun it is to talk about the best songs of the year. So going into this, what are the emotions, man?
Man, it's absolutely crazy. As Lou said, I've been super hyped for this episode. I've been waiting for it all year. But guys, we're doing more stuff like this on the Daily at NFR podcast. So end of the year content for this year. Next week, we have albums of the year, our top 10 list, same as this episode, just for albums. And then we're going to be having our award show on December 29th, where Luca and I created different categories and different selections. And then as a team together here at NFR, we're going to be choosing our picks for the best selections of those categories. So mark your calendars, December 29th. Please subscribe if you have not already. And Lou, let us know about the big news that we have coming. This is something that we haven't revealed to anyone but Patreon members at this point.
So live album reactions are actually coming to NFR's Patreon. That means that we'll be doing a live reaction to Roddy Ricch's new album, Live Life Fast, this Friday. And for every week starting this week, we'll be doing a live reaction to a new album that's released or an older album that we haven't heard yet. And this is super exciting. You can access it all in the link to the description below because it's awesome, bro. We don't actually do reactions on the channel, so to do it on the Patreon is going to be awesome. People are going to be able to come into the live streams, chat with us, listen to the album together, and it's just awesome for the community.
Absolutely. It was something that we've been working on for some months now, but we finally have it launched. Stay tuned for that. First one's this Friday, but let's get into this, man. Top 10 songs of the year. Name me some that did not make your list. I want to hear what you have right now.
Yeah, a lot of honorable mentions, to be honest. This was a super tough list to create, but I have Nobody by Nas featuring Lauryn Hill. I have Black Tame by Topaz Jones. I have Adult Swim by D2X. I have The Light by Brockhampton. I have Heaven and Hell by Kanye West, also Off the Grid, another honorable mention. Athens by Vuyo and Ziploc by Saba.
Those are great selections.
Do you have any of those on your list?
I do. I think you mentioned Heaven and Hell. That was one that I was considering for my list. Rest in Peace Young, but I have another song from The House is Burning on my top 10, so stay tuned for that. As far as other songs, Champagne Poetry, that's a song that I tried to include in here, but didn't crack my top 10. Great Drake intro. And Hooligan by Baby Keem. That was a song that actually made my top 5 most played on Apple Music, but it did not make the selection. So guys, how this is going to work, Luke and I are going to be going through our lists, top 10, 10 to 8, then 7 to 5, 4 to 2, and then Luca and I will combine at the end for our favorite songs of 2021. Are you ready to start out this list?
Let's do it. So my number 10 is My Life by J. Cole featuring Moray and 21
Fire
Savage.
Pick. I like that.
My number 9 is Victory by Vic Mensa. Kind of went under the radar this year. And my number 8 is How Wind Blows by Tyler, the Creator, featuring Lil Wayne.
Absolutely. Okay, here's my 10 to 7. Number 10, I have Sandman by A$AP Rocky. Number 9, Two Worlds Apart by Little Sims.
Nice.
And then 8, Count Me In by Nas off of King's Disease 2. So let's start off with your 10, man. Why did it make your number 10? And, what were you thinking about when selecting My Life out of all this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew I needed to have a song from the offseason because it's one of my favorite albums of the year. And to be honest, I do prefer the beat on 95 South. Shout out to Boy Wonder and Coleman. Love the live instrumentation and just the energy, that blueprint energy from that song. But the more complete song in terms of the performances especially was My Life, because there's something for every hip-hop fan to take out of this song, from the trap-driven instrumental with the hi-hats and the glamorous vocal sample, all the way up to J. Cole's hunger that he's bringing to this track with his delivery where he's kind of shouting. It seemed like the most passion that he's had in a long time. And apart from that, I mean, you have one of the best hooks of the entire year from Moray. Very soulful, very heavenly vocals that sound gospel inspired. And of course, this very heartfelt verse from 21 Savage. And 21 and J. Cole are just making for one of the best duos of modern time. And I just love how they're all taking us through their rough environments coming up, as people. And it was just a great song and one of my favorites off the offseason for sure.
I like that pick. And I do have something else on the offseason on my list, but let me go to my number 10. It is Sandman by A$AP Rocky. There's so much to talk about with this song, and it's maybe not necessarily on the structure of it or, how fucking crazy the production is. I think it's the nostalgic factor that really, has me putting this in my top 10. When I had heard this as a snippet, I'm like, this absolutely has to be released on All Smiles, which we ended up getting, or something else, and we ended up getting it off of the deluxe. But I love this chop and screwed sound that sounds like it comes straight off of Live Love ASAP. It's obviously done by Clams Casino. And then you have ASAP Rocky just going in with this super mysterious signature flow that, he started using back on those mixtapes. So I think for me, it was just one of the greatest moments of the year as far as song releases go. And when it comes to my rotation, it's something that's stuck, throughout, the past couple of months for me, because this got released in October. So it's a late pick for me, but I had to include it on my number 10.
Is it top 5 off Live Love ASAP?
I do think so right now. I think that because I've been enjoying it so much as a song. So yes, it would be top 5 for me, but bring me to your number 9 position.
It's crazy how we captured that sound so many years later. But my number 9 is actually Victory by Vic Mensa, a song that a lot of people are sleeping on. And this is kind of Vic Mensa's comeback off of his new EP called I Tape. And to start off with the production, you have Just Blaze on this beat, and he brings you back to this feeling that you would have gotten in 2003 from a Dipset song because of that triumphant energy from the production. You have crazy horns ringing off, and also a really nice orchestral section towards the end of the song. But to me, what really stood out to me is the lyrical onslaught from Vic Mensa, from the wordplay to the various flows, the substance, everything was there. And to me, this was maybe one of the most pure hip hop songs that I've gotten all year. And every line, is a punchline that actually connects to the next line. And I'll read you some conscious bars that really stood out to me. So we have, it's harder to get a gig than to get a gun. They ain't got no woodshop class, so the kids drill for fun. Like, the meaning behind that, so impactful. Also, another one about him talking about how rough it was growing up in Chicago was, I'd rather be caught packing than caught lacking. Shit, I could pay my bond. I can't buy my way out of a casket. Like, the imagery he's setting up, lyrically what he's doing here, it's all marvelous, and people have to start putting more respect on Vic Mensa's name.
I like that pick. Very original for your number 9, but I'm going to go on to my number 9 pick now, and it is Two Worlds Apart by Little Sims. And sometimes I might be introvert as, one of my favorite projects of the year, was one of the biggest surprises for me because I wasn't familiar with her music before going into this studio album. And what I love about this song is all the way from the beautiful, sample flip from Smokey Robinson. It was done by Inflow, but it was a Smokey Robinson sample. I believe it was called exactly, hold on a second, I have it right here, The Agony and the Ecstasy. That's what it was, and it sounds so fucking well done. It was done by Inflow, but I love this smooth sort of wavy flow that Little Sims comes in with. It matches that sample perfectly. I love the pronunciation at the end of her bars as well. It makes everything more interesting, and I like the content matter as well, because it's also talking about her finding the deeper meanings to life, like not necessarily gravitating towards money, but trying to find herself and the true passions within not only her artistry but within herself. Simbi. So definitely a major standout for me. Take me to your number 8.
Definitely
bro.
One of the best sample uses of the year, but I do have a song off Simbi. It'll come later on. It's not Two Worlds Apart, but that is a standout. My number 8 is How Wind Blows by Tyler, the Creator, featuring Wayne. And I mean, after the greatness that we got off of Smuckers and Dropping Seeds, like, we all should have known this was going to be a fucking banger, bro. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Call Me If You Get Lost did the best job at creating atmosphere this whole year, and this is the peak of that on the album because of the atmosphere and the environment they're setting up. It feels like you're literally in Geneva, Switzerland on that yacht with DJ Drama, Wayne, and Tyler, and that's because of the sound effects sprinkled through, such as the whistling noises and the wind effects. Apart from that, you have this beautiful Japanese bamboo flute, and you have Wayne, dropping lines like, I have my feet out on the beach, just chilling. And I think that on a technical level, Corso is a better song in terms of Tyler's rapping. But as a complete song that really establishes setting, this was phenomenal. And Wayne on a drumless beat spitting punchlines, like, it sounds like I'm getting the Carter 3 Wayne all over again. And his feature run this year, bro, he fucking smoked everybody.
Absolutely. And we had him on a lot of our selections for top 10 features of the year. But listen, let me move on to my number 8 right now, and it is Count Me In by Nas. And this is something that I absolutely had to include on here from King's Disease 2. And it's because it's probably the song that's helped me out through the most this year. I had a tragedy in my family midway through the year. And Count Me In was sort of like that song that got me back into the groove of things, that kind of made me, get back to work and get back to a certain workflow, because what this song signifies to me is being able to count me into any situation. I'm able to take on anything at this point, and I have to rely on myself to be able to get through emotional times, and being able to count on myself and no one else. So that's what I love about it. I also love the start to the second verse, one of the hardest starts to any verse all this year. Ain't worried about none of them, they bleed how I bleed, suffering from the symptoms of King's disease. Obviously King's disease is all the things that kings suffer, so the greed and the envy, everything else that comes with riches. Caught the light can't let the bright lights go to your head. I watch my day ones go to the feds. And Nas has sort of gotten more, I would say, meditative as a rapper as his discography has gone on. So this is a peak song for me, one of the best Nas songs that I've gotten in years, and it absolutely had to crack my top 10.
I don't have a Nas song on my list, but I was debating For Nobody or Store Run off of King's Disease 2, but that's also an awesome track. But let's now go on to our number 7, number 6, and number 5. My number 7 is Headshots by Isaiah Rashad. My number 6 is Photographic Memories by Boldy James featuring Earl and Rock Marciano. And my number 5 is Yeah by Mac Miller, which was actually a bonus song that was released on the re-release of Faces onto streaming platforms.
I really like your selections there.
Both have bonus songs, eh?
Both have bonus songs. I fuck with that. But let's go to my 7 to 5. And now let me know how I did with this. Hot Wind Blows, Family Ties, and Ziploc. So,
interesting.
Very interesting.
I really wanted to put Ziploc on my list. It was hard to leave it out, but take me through your number 7.
Okay, so Hot Wind Blows, you spoke about this and you said it perfectly. The peak of the atmosphere of Call Me If You Get Lost is within this song. It's because of the setting that Tyler, DJ Drama, because he's narrating, and Lil Wayne set throughout all of it. And as you were saying, it's very unconventional as a production because there's no drums on this. The flutes are absolutely exotic. It sounds absolutely fantastic. And I love how there's kind of like sometimes like, I don't know how to say it. Like, it almost sounds like there's a wind effect somewhere. I feel as if it's a bit breezy within the production, but yes, it feels like I'm watching a TV show. It feels like I'm watching a movie. The way that Tyler, paints this beautiful production was absolutely flawless and one of my favorite produced songs of the year. But take me on to your number 7.
Number 7, Headshots by Isaiah Rashad. And I first discovered this like in 2020. I was just super down to hear snippets from The House is Burning, so I did a quick YouTube search. And I came across the snippet where Isaiah was with his friends chilling in this kitchen, kind of dancing. And I just remember the vibe being so immaculate. And that snippet ended up being Headshots, which thank God it was released as a single and then made it onto The House is Burning, because this is the epitome of the smooth and soulful Isaiah Rashad that as Isaiah fans, we've grown to appreciate over the years. I love how he's gliding through this wavy instrumental that has a lot of bounce to it, and apart from that, all the backing vocals on the hook of this song, add to the message of overcoming addiction as a community and as a unit. Because in the music video too, you see that he's going through these group therapy sessions, with friends or with a variety of people. So it kind of shows that you're never alone when going through these struggles. And I just love how Isaiah is also talking about his mortality and how he tells a loved one, if you got me in the scope and I'm missing, it is what it is. He's kind of accepting the trials and tribulations that come with life. So to me, this was one of the vibiest songs of the year, one of my favorite hooks, and one of my favorite Isaiah Rashad songs of all time.
I like this pick, and maybe I included it somewhere on this list, but let me move on to my number 6. I have Family Ties by Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, and there's so much to say about this song. Everything from, the 5 different voices that Kendrick's using on his second verse, all the way to, let's say, all the different beat switches that there's within this production. Also, this is probably the most unconventional song of the year, but it sounds so well done. Every transition in production, all the way to, the crazy horns you're getting from Cardo at the beginning, then to more of the R&B sort of beat that, Baby Keem rides within the middle of the song, then to the, haunting and fast-paced more beat that, Kendrick's able to ride. And the competitiveness of this song was crazy because now in hip-hop, there's sort of this thing where, like, there's barely any sort of competition, and Kendrick comes in and says, listen, guys, like, burn your hard drives. I'm coming in. We obviously didn't get the album.
Let me jump in this bitch, man. That
regardless,
goes to the vibes.
Absolutely. But it gives so much confidence. So another song that I had to include on my number 6. But Lou, take me halfway through your list, man. Number 5, major pick here.
My number 6, actually.
Not number 6, my bad.
Yeah, I had to include a Griselda song, and I have Photographic Memories by Boldy James, and it was kind of hard choosing between this, Scatterbrain, Criminel off of Pray for Haiti by Matt Comey, but this song is amazing because you have this very simple sample that's chosen by The Alchemist, very obscure sample, but what's interesting is that the sample is very sweet, while the performances from the 3 artists makes them sound like they're tortured souls. It makes them sound like they're dealing with so much, I would say,
burden,
hardship, from the haunting experiences that are engraved in their heads. And that's why they're photographic memories, because they can't lose sight of what they've gone through in the past. And I think that Boldy James kills his verse, taking us through, how he can't remember certain events. I love how Earl sounds so unconventional over this Alchemist production. and Rock Marciano comes in, totally steals the show, and his opening line is one of the best lines of the entire year. He raps, "Broke generational curses with my cursive," just talking about the power of his pen. So poetic, and I think Rock Marciano really is slept on as an artist. So for me, brilliant metaphors throughout the track, and very dope song, and one of Griselda's best of the year for sure.
I like that song, and I was trying to take something off of Bo Jackson. I would have probably done Brickmouth to Montana. Yes, my bad. And then probably Double Hockey Sticks. Those are probably the two songs that I would take off of it. But my number 5, Ziploc by Saba. And this released earlier on the year, March 17th to be exact. And this is a part of a 2-pack song drop that Saba had dropped, sort of like Lucy's. But this is something that I would have found maybe on his new album that I would have been like, yo, this is top tier Saba material. This is really fucking sick. And this was produced by Coop the Truth and D Phelps. And there's this sort of breezy atmosphere that goes throughout it. Like, I love the sort of like jazz atmosphere that's created throughout all of it. I also love the 2 different perspectives that are presented by Saba. The first one being in West Oakland, California, and then the second one being in Bronx, New York, where he talks about different states of mind within each of them. So overall, super complete song, and one of those songs that really made my rotation because I liked it as like, let's say, a focus listen, and I also liked it in like just a rotational listen that I could play it in the background. So definitely one of my most played of the year. But take me on to your number 5 right now,
that's
bro.
definitely one of Saba's best songs. But my number 5 is "Yeah" by Mac Miller, which was actually released as a bonus song to Faces when it was re-released this year on the streaming platforms. And my first thought after hearing it was like, how the fuck did this not make the original track list? Because it's one of the best songs off of Faces, and it fits into the theme so well. And this song is a testament to Mac Miller's evolution as an artist, because you really see those signs of him evolving into being a singer-songwriter that can perform over any instrumental. And on this song, it's a rock-inspired beat that has this amplified electric guitar and a very eerie melody from Frank Dukes and DJ Dahi. And absolutely love the production here. And I love that Mac Miller on this song is finding beauty in the chaos, because he wants to bask in whatever brings him pleasure, no matter what the effects might be, no matter what pain it might bring him. And on this song, it sounds like Mac Miller is witnessing everything crashing down upon him, but he has a smile on his face. He's accepting the idea that he might die one day. And it's just interesting to see how contemplative he was. And it's really powerful to see him hit these higher notes for certain bars. And, the bleak tone also is very effective. And apart from that, the hook is so anthemic and one of his best hooks ever. Not only that, but this is one of those songs, like a lot of other Mac Miller songs, where it sounds like he's performing this from heaven. It sounds like he put this in a perspective where he left us music for times where he wouldn't be around to comfort us. And this came out at a great time because a lot of people have been waiting for new Mac Miller material, and this is truly one of the best songs off of Faces, so I just had to include it on the list.
2 bonus songs on the end of the year list by 2 legendary rappers, so it's nice to see them there. But let's actually get on to our 4 to 2. So I'll start mine off. I have Nobody by Nas off of King's Disease 2. I have Let Go My Hand by J. Cole on The Off Season, and then I have Headshots by Isaiah Rashad off of The House Is Burning. Lou, take me from your 4 to 2.
My number 4 is Family Ties by Baby Keem featuring Kendrick. My number 3 is Ain't Gonna Stop Me by Reggie, one of the most underrated picks on my list. And number 2 is I Love You, I Hate You by Little Sims.
All right, so I'll start off with my number 4, Nobody. This is a song that you did not include on your list, but it's undeniably one of the best songs of the year, in my opinion.
For sure.
I'm a big fan of what this song means. It means sort of being free in your own body and being free in your way of life. Plus, I think that this is also a part 2, sort of, to If I Ruled the World, because when they had done If I Ruled the World back then, the whole perspective Nas was going through was, what would he do if he had the power to unlock the world and if he would have to go through it? Now, the perspective is, what would he do if he had the freedom? And what would he do if he would have a life with no one watching him and no one wanting anything from him? And this is what they're kind of speaking about. And on the second verse from Lauryn Hill, you're getting this introspection by her because she's talking about why she maybe hasn't returned to music and why she doesn't necessarily want to release any more projects. Also talks about her spirituality and like being able to see beyond everything and see beyond, what's at face value. So it was when this verse from Lauryn Hill made my top 10 features of the year. And this is a song that's going to stick with me, I would say, until I stop listening to hip hop music, to be honest with you. So one of my favorites of the year. Take me on to your number 4.
If Lauryn Hill kept going, she would have been probably a top 5 MC of all time. Just gonna put that out there as a take. But my number 4 is Family Ties by Baby Keem featuring Kendrick Lamar. And this song is all about energy, bro. It's about the confidence they come in with through the flow switches. And to me, this is the most loose cannon song of the entire year because of how erratic it is. You have this very loose song structure. You have playful cadences. You have these beat switches throughout the track. And I love Baby Keem's flow when he's rapping. I'm OD in Paris. I'm OD in France. I told you I need the advance. Amazing flow. And then Kendrick comes in, has 5 unique voices throughout the song, and is calling out these overnight activists who, who are talking on social media, but maybe aren't doing as much in real life. And I just love everything this song brought about. It was the return of King Kendrick, and he's always the guy to light the fuse under the rap game, and he did it again, reinstilling that competitive nature, and everything about this song hit, and it really got me out of my chair and excited more than any other song this year. So it had to make a spot on my list.
That's a great pick. That's why I had to include it there. I was actually thinking about putting this earlier, but let me move on now to my number 3, Let Go of My Hand by J. Cole. And this is really nice because this sounds like something that could come off of For Your Eyes Only, my favorite project from J. Cole. And when I was expecting,
spoiler alert there.
when I was
for the discography ranking, I'm saying, but yeah.
Oh, anyways, yeah, we're actually gonna end up doing that at a certain point. But going back to Let Go of My Hand, I love the introspection by J. Cole. That's what I listen to his music for. I want to hear where he's at in life. I want to hear what type of knowledge and game that he has to give to me to be able to advance my life. And what Let Go of My Hand sort of signifies is going with the natural nuances of life, letting life take its course, and letting God show you His work just through observing and just through seeing what's going on. So in this instance, J. Cole is sort of saying, one day I'm going to have to let go of my son's hand and make him experience the world for himself. But now my duty as a person and as a human being on this world is making him prepared for that moment. Not only that, but J. Cole also uses a bit of flashback technique in this verse where he's taking you back to his adolescence days where he was afraid of confrontation, but he would mask himself as someone that was harder, someone that was more built, someone that, was, more grounded that you couldn't fuck with. But deep down, he didn't necessarily feel as if he was really that person. So overall, mix that in with, Baz's outro on this, Black's vocals, the jazzy production that sounds like it come from For Your Eyes Only. Definitely a lock for me on my top 3 songs of the year.
Love that song. Definitely top 3 off the offseason for me. But my number 3 is actually Ain't Gonna Stop Me by Reggie, one of the most low-key songs on both of our lists, I would say. And Reggie's actually an up-and-coming artist from Houston, and he only has singles out, doesn't have an album out yet, but it will be coming soon. And I absolutely adore the fact that this song is only 1 minute and 36 seconds, and he's able to pack in so much substance and a really uplifting spirit throughout his voice. And his voice, the inflections are very similar, I would say, to D'Angelo or Andre 3000. Very southern and also very, I would say, charismatic. And I love what this song's about because he's talking about how no matter what he faces in life, no matter what pain he might endure, nothing's going to stop him from moving forward and actually trying to achieve his goals. And I also love that the vocal layering on this song, because you'll notice that he pitches up his vocals to do his own backing vocals on the hook. And that kind of plays into this illusion that there's voices in his head telling him, I damn near lost me, saying how he almost lost himself, because another line he has on here is that his best friends were oxys. So he's really taking you through this drug addiction and all the hardships he's gone through in his life, while also displaying his amazing vocal range and an absolute stunning song. There's a great, what's it called? In Colors? The performance is there?
Yes, Colors performance.
He did one for this song. It's absolutely amazing. You could see his raw talent there, but I had to include it because of the uplifting nature and just that message of not making anything stop you in life. So that's my number 3.
I like that. Let me go on to my number 2. I have Headshots by Isaiah Rashad. This is something that you included on your list too, but in my opinion, this was Song of the Summer. It was my most memorable song for summer of 2021. I love the nature of this song because it could do both things. It could be deep in introspection, but it could also be a nice, let's say, play just for the background like I had with Ziploc, but this is like the upgraded version for me. And as you were saying, this sort of song sums up where Isaiah Rashad was at with his life for the past 5 years before dropping music. That's what, at least what I felt as if was being portrayed through the lyricism, because J. Cole was talking about, his struggle with addiction and his journey throughout that process. And I love what you said about him layering his vocals for the hook, or like it almost sounds like a choir, because then it feels like everyone's coming together. And it's also cool to see how he's talking to a friend at the beginning of the song, because it sort of adds an extra scenario and layer to understanding what's actually going in with his life. And again, like, this is something that you would find off of the Sun's Tirade. Definitely one of my most played listens. I believe it actually cracked my top 15 songs most played for this year. I think it's a top 5 Isaiah Rashad song of all time. I'll say it like that. I genuinely think so. And when I wanted him to return, this was the song I wanted to see. But take me on to your number 2 now.
Number 2, I Love You, I Hate You by Little Sims. And I don't even know where the fuck to start with this song. It's just a masterpiece. I mean, think about the orchestral production from Inflow and Graham Godfrey. You have these glistening violins. You have this reggae guitar that only comes into the second half of the song. And I just love the fact that Little Sims utilize live instruments for hip-hop production. There's not a single sample in terms of the instruments on this song, and I feel like that needs to be brought back into hip-hop. And I also love this song because of the messaging and the fact that it's all about her digging up buried feelings and talking about her relationship with her father, which she stated in interviews she hasn't wanted to address in songs. But with this song, she let it all out, and it feels like a freeing experience for her. It seems like she got a lot off of her chest, and I just love the consistent flow, and I love how at the end of the day she actually humanizes her father and is able to take you through this journey through 3 verses. I love the production. I love her performances all throughout, and it really is one of the most moving songs of the entire year. But without further ado, let's get on to our number 1 song of the year. And let us know in the comments what your top song of the year is. I think we have the same pick, man.
Yeah, I'll let you go first. You say you're first, and I'll tell you if I have the same
This is how
one.
it's been for every fucking list this year, guys. Life of the Party by Kanye West featuring Andre 3000.
This is a masterpiece. There's actually, if I have to put one word for this song, it's a masterpiece. And me and Lou have been trying to find different ways to talk about this song for how many times, we've mentioned this song in our list or we've talked about it, because it's absolute fucking greatness. This is a song that you're going to be able to put amongst the Runaways and, other top tier Kanye songs, because it has that sort of feeling and essence to it, all the way from the grabbing content matter from Andre 3K talking to his parents through Donda, even Kanye West, let's say, talking about where he's at in his life. And I also think that the second verse, as you previously stated to me, is more fit for, let's say, the vibe of the album. So take me through why you like this song so much, and why is it such a brilliant moment in time for 2021 as a whole?
Yeah, I think there's no artist that has articulated as much emotion in a more poetic or descriptive manner than Andre 3000 on this song. And it feels so intimate as a verse. I feel like I'm actually sitting down on my front porch with my best friend, in this case being Andre 3000, having a deep conversation. And I love how contemplative it is about life and about the greater beyond, because he has lines like, "Hey, Miss Donda, if you run into my mama, please tell her I say something. I'm starting to believe there ain't no such thing as heaven trumpets." Like, he's questioning his faith. He's questioning his own existence on this earth. And in all of that, it's playing into the greater theme of the album of trying to reconnect spiritually with a loved one, in that case being your mother, as Kanye does throughout the whole album. And I've spoken about this. We actually did a full breakdown on our top 10 features of the list. Spoiler alert, I made our number 1. But one of the takeaways that I actually took out after my 10th listen is that soundbite at the end of DMX on the slingshot ride at the amusement park with his daughter, is that his daughter is crying out because she's scared of the ride, but she's also crying out mama. She wants her mother, and that plays into the whole concept of the song, because it speaks to how Kanye and Andre 3000, that role of their mother, that comfort that they've gotten from their mother, cannot be replaced. It's an irreplaceable connection, and it's beautiful how they layered that into the song. And this is perfection to me.
Best song of the year. There's actually no debate. I genuinely do think that this is the best song of the year. Lou and I had it at number 1 for a reason, and we've talked about many different reasons why we think this is a masterpiece. But guys, listen, let us know how you feel about our end of the year list. We'd love to see you guys in the comments. We love having conversations with you guys. So hit up the comment section after you watch this video. Not only that, but as I said, this Friday, Live Life Fast by Roddy Ricch. We're doing a full reaction to that on our Patreon. If you want access missed that, hit the link in the description. It's going to be awesome. And
Also,
we're going to be doing...
sorry, just to interrupt. If you guys can't catch the live streams, it will be available all on the catalog. And apart from that, guys, a bunch of content on the way. Thank you so much for the continuous support, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching the full video, and if you're new to NFR, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we'll be keeping you guys updated with the latest album releases in terms of update videos, album reviews, and our own original series on the weekly. And we also have our Patreon plan available in the description below, where you can access weekly bonus content and also access to our Discord. So be sure to check out all of that, and we'll catch you in the next one.